New Year's resolutions. It's time to reset a little bit, isn't it? What we're going to do is we're going to have a look at my entire guitar collection, every single one. We're going to have a look at them all, and we're going to sell a bunch. Flip them, flip loads of them. This guitar is really good, but what's the point of it if you don't play it? That's what I'm asking myself. I haven't played it at all, so it messes with my mind. My plan is, well, let's pass them on. Needs to be played in anger. The ongoing dilemma, because there's so many things you think, oh, I might just hang on to, and you end up, you know, you've always got 65 guitars. And it's time to grow up, isn't it? We'll see. Hello, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. First show 2024. Happy New Year to you. About this time of year, I personally like to take a long, hard look at myself. You know, ask myself some serious questions, really. You know, how did I get here? You know, what am I doing exactly? You know what I mean. New Year's resolutions. It's time to reset a little bit, isn't it? To have a think things through and try and prepare a little bit. So what I'm doing, yeah, I've had a long, hard think. What I'm doing is I'm going to have some therapy. That's what this is, basically. We're going to have a bit of therapy over the next few weeks, in fact. What we're going to do is we're going to have a look at my entire guitar collection, every single one that I've accumulated from before the YouTube days and obviously up until, you know, last week. Well, the last one I bought a few weeks ago, probably. And what we're going to do, most notably, and for the first time ever, is have a real major cull of those guitars. Clear out, flip them, flip loads of them. Loads, ones that haven't been used, are not earning their keep, that have got some value, maybe have increased in value, you know, in my ownership. We're going to have a look at them all, and we're going to sell a bunch. I mean, not just a couple. I mean, I'm always flipping guitars, trading and buying new ones for the channel to review. But on this occasion, it's going to be a cull. So what I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, is join me over the next few weeks. It's too many to do in one show. There's a 60-something guitars that I want to show you, and I want to talk about them and talk about what they mean to me, if anything, as by way of therapy, to help me decide whether or not I can let them go. As much as I love them, whether or not I can grow up and just go, look, you know, go to somebody else. Let somebody else enjoy you now. And then use that money to buy more guitars to share with you. So it's going to be emotional. So you know the score. There's going to be some timestamps in the description box, and you're going to need at least a cup of tea and some nibbles to get through this with me. So go and do that. Come back. Let's get stuck in. I'm actually going to start with a guitar that is one of the ones that I least want to let go, but also, this makes sense, probably top of the list of guitars I'm going to let go. I've decided it's, yeah, I have decided to let the AD Flying V go. So It's a thing, isn't it? And it's an old Gibson. It's a 1991, properly used by AD. You know what I'm talking about if you saw the review I did of this about 18 months ago. That's the thumbnail. That's what the thumbnail looks like. This was previously owned by someone called AD, who lived down in the West Country. And we know that because he wrote his name and his postcode inside. Oh, wow. It's got writing in it. AD, if you're watching this, I think I'm going to be selling this again. You know, it's really hard. This epitomises the struggle. This really epitomises the struggle, because this is exactly the sort of guitar you want in your collection. A proper, it's got proper mojo in it. And it's a Flying V, and it's a Gibson, and it was not expensive in the scheme of things at all. But these aren't expensive. But they don't get played, ever. They don't ever get played. Well, this sort of guitar, you'd probably play it if you're in a band, but unless you're really into Flying Vs and that's your thing, it's unlikely you'd pick it up in favour of something next to it, because it's a cumbersome beast. It takes a while to get comfortable, you know. You've got to be in the right position, in the right chair for it to work. So even if it wasn't, you know, I mean, that aside, you know, these guitars, I don't get a chance to play them anyway, because I'm always playing something new. Yeah, nice problem to have, but 18 months on, and I see this sitting on the wall, and I think, well, should we let this one go? I think so. We'll hear it, and you know, we won't make any hard and fast decisions, but probably top of the list. We'll see. This was brilliant fun, this one. This is my Bullet Strat with P90 complete modification job. It came out really well. I mean, visually, what a great looking guitar. It was a bit of a fluke, to be honest with you. I ordered the scratch plate specially so that I could get the knobs out of hand's way. As you can see, it's got one volume, one tone. No knob bashing going on there, as per the normal knob bashing that happens with Strats. So I ordered this scratch plate, and just the way that it looks, because it's got this kind of matte finish, which I hadn't specified or anticipated, looks great, looks really good. And this is a Kent Armstrong P90 that originally came out of a Gordon Smith that I'll show you in a bit. Yeah, Bullet Strat, P90, sounds brilliant. Again, this is a guitar that's been hanging on the wall ever since I did it, along with all the mod things that I've done, and most of my guitars. So, you know, it's part of my plan is, well, let's pass them on to someone that will maybe have this as their guitar and play the hell out of the damn thing. It needs to be beaten up, doesn't it? It needs to be played in anger. So yeah, I'm gonna list this. This is my Gordon Smith. I've been promising to show you this forever, and I I just haven't. I've never got round to it. It's a GS1 that I had made custom. You know, Gordon Smith, a UK builder, fabulous guitars from, well, they went back to the 70s, the original punk guitar, Buzzcocks, you know. And, you know, for not a lot of money, you can spec out a guitar on their website, which is what I did. P90, brass nut, that's their thing. Locking tuners I put on there. Yeah, 2016 I had this delivered. I have upgraded the pickup. The original Gordon Smith pickup is in the P90 Bullet Strat now, and this is a Lola. That's a Lola 50s, I think. And I changed and upgraded the pots as well. It didn't need it, to be honest with you, at all, but you know, sometimes we just like messing around, don't we? So yeah, it's got a very skinny neck, which is why I don't often play it. And I'll be honest, it hasn't really been used very much. It's got a little bit of wear, but you know, for what, 7 years? No, I might. You know what? I might sell this. I might, and I might not. I'm a bit undecided, but it's kind of, you know, if someone's interested in this, it's probably for sale. Everyone's got to have a Les Paul custom, haven't they? This is mine. It's the Epiphone. I settled on this one, having previously owned no fewer than 3 Gibson Les Paul customs, including an aged, or a relict, should I say, custom shop 68 one. They were all, well, the custom shop one was nice. The standard ones, to be honest with you, this is just as good as them. Yeah, I said it. Well, I said it in the review of this, probably. That's the thumbnail. Fabulous guitars, these. And at the moment, not too expensive still. They're going up a little bit, but these are still affordable. A little bit on the heavy side for me. Again, sadly, I haven't played it at all. I haven't played it at all. So it messes with my mind. So what is the point of keeping stuff that you don't get a chance to play for the sake of it? It's, I don't know, new year, new thought processes. Or maybe it's time to just, I mean, like, so yeah, everyone has to have a Les Paul custom, but if you're not actually going to play it, what is the point? Let somebody else play it. Don't know. I might. We'll see. This is what it sounds like. Another fabulous Epiphone, inspired by Epiphone, original, the Wilshire P90s. What a great guitar. This, I actually bought this used, mint, cheap as chips, although somebody has pointed out that chips aren't that cheap these days. But yeah, really, really cool. I think it's a really cool guitar. I like the, you know, the kind of split sealed. What's the word? Love it or hate it, innit? Marmite, the bikini logo. This is what I'm talking about here. The bikini logo, the bikini logo. I like it because it's vintage, isn't it? It's vintage correct. They did that, you know. They haven't just stuck it on now because they think it looks good. Back in the whenever it was, for a while at least, Epiphone had the old bikini logo. So I think this guitar's cool. It's because it's a vintage reissue, and I love me vintage reissues, don't I? And it sounds good, and it feels good, and it's way cooler than all sorts of other things. I'm not going to be specific, but it's way cooler than a lot of other guitars. If I was a kid in a band, or if I was playing in a band, I would use this. Unfortunately, I'm not, and I'm unlikely to be again anytime soon. So the question is it, should I hang on to it? I don't know. Now, this is a guitar that started it all. Or should I say, restarted it all. Restarted my guitar thing, my guitar addiction. You'll be very surprised to see that it's a Stratocaster. Yeah, it shows you how little I knew about guitars at that time, perhaps. But yeah, so this guitar, I'm not going to go into the story. It's a story for another time, perhaps. But I was in a hotel in Sydney, working over there on a tour, and I was trying to overcome an addiction. That's what I'll say. I was trying to overcome an addiction, and laid up in a hotel with time on my hands and nothing to do during the day. So literally across the street was a music shop. So I just went in. I thought, oh, I'll get a guitar. I'll play the guitar instead of doing that other thing that I was doing. So I went in, and I knew USA and I knew Fender, and so I just decided. I mean, literally pointed at. I said to the guy, Strat, and this is a Highway 1, so it was, wasn't silly money. 60th anniversary. 2006 it was made. 2007 I bought it, I'm pretty sure. It wasn't silly money, so I just thought, I'll have that one. Literally, I'll have that one. Do you want to play it? No, I'll have that one. So I bought this and a Zoom multi-effects and some headphones. I went back to the hotel and started playing, and I was amazed that I could remember anything, to be honest with you, because I'd given up guitar around about 1985. So it was a good, how many years is that? 20 years, 20 odd years. I just didn't touch a guitar, pretty much. So I think this guitar is responsible for all of this, and I thank it. And it means to. I mean, I don't play it because it's a Strat. It is a nice guitar to play, I must say, but I don't play it. But I won't be selling it. There you go. This is a guitar that I definitely bought to review, and because it was pink. It's a JT300, I think, this model. Hugely affordable. And as it turns out, really nice playing guitar. Lovely neck. Wicked guitar, really, for, was it might have been £185. It was silly. Easy decision is I have to keep this for the time being because it's the first of a lineup of cheap T-styles that I'm going to then end up comparing. So I'm aiming to get a Paisley, a Harley Benton, and Squier Affinity probably, and some others. I'm looking for ideas. So that's going to be, early, start probably February, March time. We'll go through some, and then we'll do a comparison, like 150 to 200 pound range T-styles, compare them, and then probably flip a lot of them. So stay tuned for that. Here's a lovely thing. It's the Tokai goldtop. This is the Chinese made one. So this is I think it's a UALS 60, is it? Something like that. But this has been around here for a while now. I've made several films, a big mod job on this. So this is all real fancy stuff. This is the, well, look, check out the films. I'll put all the links in the description box. So This has got Mad Murray's pickups. I think it's got a Monty's wiring loom in it. It's got Faber, fancy hardware. It's the bollocks, to be honest with you. It doesn't get played. It doesn't get played. It just gets used in films from time to time. The only thing I've still got to do to this is the switch is still wonky because I had a bit of a job cramming it in. If I sell it, and I probably will, I'm going to probably have to fix the switch. This guitar is really good, but what's the point of it if you don't play it? That's what I'm asking myself. Another big mod job was done on this here Gretsch G2622. I'm going to have a stab at that. I'm rubbish with these numbers. So this one has some really nice Dynasonics single coil humbucker size and some CTS pots, I think. It's mad. I can't, I've done so much mucking around with guitars. I can't remember this stuff. Seems like ages ago, probably was. But it's lovely. And I was going to put a Bigsby on this, but I discovered that the one that I had that I thought would fit didn't. So I did make a film about that. A few people have said, where's the film with the Bigsby? It's the one where I fitted the Bigsby to the Epiphone Les Paul Standard 50s goldtop instead, because it didn't fit on this. So, and it's called something like fitting a Bigsby B7. So you should be able to find it. Put the links in the description box just in case you can't. So yeah, this has got these pickups are outstanding. They've got this added sparkle to them, which is really special. So, you know, affordable guitar, top class electronics and pickups. Again, doesn't get played, so this will go. Here's a tricky one. This is my Loic Le Pape. Steel G Kid is what he called it, which I commissioned from him quite a long time ago now. And this was the first SG Junior style that he'd ever built, so he told me at the time. And this was built to my spec, and it's made of steel, as if you didn't know that, because that's what he does. And his guitars are brilliant, works of art, obviously. This is all hand done by Loic, and even the artwork it's not printed, it's painted. And this is something I asked for. I said I wanted the Ban the Bomb sign on there for some reason. I'd seen it on another guitar and thought that looks cool. And I said make love, not war would be good. So he put it in French. Fais l'amour pas la guerre, which is what he told me that says. My French isn't that good. But it's look, you know, check out I've done a review of this. It just sounds like nothing else. It's really electric. It really is. Whoa! I've used this live at gigs to play Stooges, Wanna Be Your Dog. It's just amazing. I think that's what I did in the review as well. It's got a great 50s chunky 58, I think 58 neck on it. And yeah, this is this is a Kent Armstrong P90. This is a Kent Armstrong P90. I don't know if I'm going to cut this in the same film, but I was just talking about the bullet strat mod that I did, where I put a single P90, and I said that was Kent Armstrong. That's not. That's a Gordon Smith P90. This is the Kent Armstrong P90. Sounds great. A proper 61 spec Junior with the jaunty angled tail bridge. It's got Grover tuners. It's relict. It sounds brilliant. And the problem with this is, well, I don't play in the band these days, and I can't see that happening at any time in the near future. So as much as it is a lovely work of art, and it's lovely, and everyone mentions it hanging on the wall there, part of my 2024 resolution is, if a guitar is worth as much as a motorcycle and you're not using it, sell it and buy a motorcycle that you will use, or something like that. I've got to rethink. If it's a mantra. But basically, any guitar that's worth this amount of money, it really needs to be doing something, earning its keep. And it's not earning its keep just looking sweet on the wall. This money, if I sell this, can be invested in the channel. And that's what I need to do for the new year, because I want to keep this thing going. So it's tough love. I've enjoyed it for, I mean, when was it? Oh, hang on, it says there, 5 years now. So I think it's time to pass this on, I think. So it'll be listed. It won't be cheap. My lovely Gibson SGJ, a throwback to the days when Gibson USA made cheap guitars, or affordable, £399 new this in 2013 when I bought this. And there is, it's got the worn finish that they made various different versions of this, didn't they? Worn, tributes, fadeds. Nowadays they're really expensive. Not then. It doesn't look very much like it did back then. It's got different pickups, different pick guard. Changed the nut. I had to change the nut straight away because it was a typical old style Gibson nut that was pinging, and tuning was a nightmare. But once I got that fixed, it's been great. Beautiful neck, and it's got my playware on it. It's been used a lot. I shan't be selling it. Sorry. And another throwback to when Gibson made affordable guitars that everyone criticised at the time, no doubt. A Gibson Les Paul Melody Maker from 2003. I think that is 2003 this was made in the USA. And there's a real, well, there's a story. So prior to getting heavily involved in this YouTube channel, and prior to the COVID, as I've said in my studio tour and backstory thing before, I'm a producer. That's what I did for a living, producing shows. And what I used to do is, if I was away on a big job, at a big job, basically my job involved loads and loads of planning, and then going out and filming the show, putting all the crew together and stuff, and directing it or producing it or whatever was required at that time. And it was always a big thing. You'd go away for a few days, hole up in a hotel. And quite often I used to go guitar shopping, in the downtime. And this is a result of a show that I filmed, produced and directed, in fact, at the London Hammersmith Apollo. And we were holed up, and I was in Hammersmith, and I wanted it. It was probably a pawn shop, kind of electrical shop with lots of guitars hanging on the ceiling. It was a weird little place in Hammersmith, the sort of place you'd expect to bump into Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols, flogging off Nick guitars or something. Anyway, and there were lots of Gibsons, like proper Gibsons. And I saw this hanging on the wall. And it's obviously somebody, look at it. It's got coffee stains on the back where they probably put their coffee while they were skinning up or whatever. And it was about 300 quid. I think I paid for it then, which, it was probably overpriced at that point. But it's lovely, isn't it? And I'll always remember very precisely where this came from and why I bought it. It was a little gift to myself for whatever it is I was doing. So yeah, these are the guitars that you don't need to play them to appreciate them. You can look at it and go, oh, it's gonna always bring back a fond memory. So I shan't be selling this. This is another one of those guitars that's been hanging on the back wall looking sweet for a very long time, but hasn't really been played. I think we dug it out for one session downstairs when my mate Phil came in, but apart from that, last time this was really used by me was on stage with my band. Another one that I did use for gigging, but and another one of those guitars that's a high value guitar. So if I sell this, it'll free up funds to buy several other guitars to review on the channel and keep the machine turning. So I think I am going to list this. Custom shop. This is from way back in 2006 when Custom Shop was called Art and Historic. It's got a bit of paper certificate. Oh yeah, and this is, I'll have to show you this now, won't I? It's heavily faded, this, and when I did my SG collection film a year or so ago, I took the pick guard off to show how faded, so check this out. You ready? That's how faded it is. Look at that. That had obviously been hanging in direct sunlight, I would imagine. It was like that when I got it, which was probably 4 years ago, something like that. And actually you can see it had the, or must have had the Custom Shop sticker still on the pick guard scratch plate, because you can see where the stickerage has come on there. You might be able to get that off with a bit of lighter fuel, but I've kind of left it. So that's what the colour it was, heavily faded. It's got a bit of a wobbly arm. I'm going to fit this flat spoon bar. I've had this a while, I just haven't got around to do it. I'm going to fit that because I think they look better anyway. But I think, again, yeah, high value guitar, it's worth, you know, it's made a little bit of money for me, this. So I'm going to, this will be on Reverb. Could be yours. You've seen this one recently. It's the Squier Classic Vibe Starcaster with new wiring loom and my little solder blob. I haven't decided what to do with that yet. And as far as the guitar is concerned, I mean, this is a really wonderful Squier Classic Vibes. We've said it so many times. They're great. And this one, I actually bought this second-hand, and I didn't pay a great deal for it. It's a guitar, all Squier Classic Vibes punch way above their weight in pounds or dollars. Yeah, I think if I was going to, oh, hang on. No, I've just contradicted myself in my mind. I was going to say, if I was going to keep one, oh no, this works. One semi-hollow, it'd be the Starcaster. Forget the 335, I'll have the Starcaster. And the other one I was thinking of was the Casino, which I'd have over this, but that's a hollow. It's not a semi-hollow. So I can have the Casino and the Starcaster. And I'm going to keep, well, we'll talk about the Casino later. I'm going to keep, I don't know if I'm going to keep the Starcaster. That's the problem we're having. I'm going to want to keep them all, you realise that. Now this one is a fairly new kid on the block. I've only had this a few weeks, as of when I'm filming this. This, of course, is the Kim Thale from Soundgarden signature from Guild, S100 Polara. it's a cracking guitar. It's a cracking guitar. Looks very much like an SG-ish. Doesn't really sound like an SG. It's got a much darker, warmer, heavier, definitely heavier tone to it. I did a bit of drop D with this for the first time ever. Very inspiring guitar. I'd love to keep it, but will I? I'm undecided on this, really. I'm undecided. I'd like it to just join the wall of SGs behind me and stay there long term, but I don't know. I ain't decided yet. What do you think? Another massively affordable guitar here. It's a Burns. It's another vintage reissue. So it's got a lot of cool factor because of that. This is a jazz short scale. That's what this is called, with these Burns trisonic single coils. It's an incredibly unique sounding. I think it's quite unique, this. The sound, the pickups, and it's kind of got a sort of a certain stratness to it, but it don't sound like a strat, thank God. Great guitar. The dilemma with stuff like this is, cheap guitars is like, well, it's so cheap anyway, and what the resale value of stuff like this is obviously not very good, because people can go and buy a new one for £299. So why would they pay more than, what's it probably worth, 150 quid if you're lucky? I mean, on the plus side, you're not going to lose very much on it. For me to lose 150 quid on a guitar when I flip it is great. Happy days. What was I saying though? The dilemma is, well, is it worth even selling it for 150 quid? You know, you might as well keep it and look at it. But that's the ongoing dilemma, because there's so many things you think, oh, I might just hang on to, and you end up, you know, you've always got 65 guitars. And yeah, it's time to grow up, isn't it? We'll see. The Danelectro, the stock 59. Another recent acquisition, something that I've wanted for ages. I'm pretty certain this is not something I'm going to get rid of. There's no money tied up in it. So what would be the point? It's a beautiful thing. It's a really distinctive thing. And it is something that I will play if I ever get a chance. So I don't think this is going anywhere. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not going anywhere. The Stoner Greenie, as I've recently named it in a recent film. the affordable Greenie, because it cost well a lot less than the Epiphone that was just released recently. Great guitar, custom made in the Netherlands. It sounds immense, it must be said. It really does sound immense. And it's a nice weight, very nice weight. The question is, though, how many Les Pauls do you need? Here's the thing. If I could just have one Les Paul, which would be, well, it's what most normal people have, isn't it? Just this is my Les Paul. This would be a contender, absolutely, because it hasn't got, you know, it's not a high value guitar, so you don't need to worry about it getting bashed, I suppose. I was going to say getting nicked, but yeah, no, you wouldn't want this to get nicked. Although whoever nicked it would have trouble selling it, wouldn't they? Anyway, fucking rambling, aren't I? yeah, this could be your one Les Paul because it does the job, and it's got the open book headstock, and it's got, unlike the Epiphone, it's got the right, I think they call that the bell truss rod cover, don't they? 2 screws. The Epiphone, although the Epiphone that they just released has got the open book headstock, they put the Epiphone truss rod cover on it. It doesn't really make sense, does it? Not this one though. This is proper correct. So this is a cool guitar, but I think that I will probably end up flipping this at some point. Check the Reverb listings. Right, so there you go. Tough love. I reckon 17 guitars in this episode, and I've just said I'm probably going to sell 11 of them. It's got to be done though, isn't it? That's what I've said. It's a reset. It's a reset. There's no point just having them hanging on the wall doing nothing. Even the precious ones that I've had from way before YouTube. There's no point. They need to go into new ownership, people that can appreciate them, and that the funds can buy more guitars to share with you, which will then also flip, probably. So some of those will now be on reverb.com. The link to my shop is in the description box. So check that out and see which ones I've put on Reverb, which ones are still available. They might have sold already. They probably won't, but check them out. Some of the cheaper guitars will go into my local music shop. Okay, little family run, independent music shop in Southend where I live. If James offers me enough for them, some of the cheaper ones will go in there. So I'll also put a link to Southend Music Exchange in the description box. So some of the more affordable ones, you can go and try them out if you fancy them. So next week we'll be back with a whole load more. There's loads, said 60 odd guitars. So it's going to probably be about at least 3 weeks this, which is nice for January because it gives us something to do, doesn't it? Get our teeth into. This one's up next week. It's a Jazzmaster from Japan. 1995, I think this. Tatty old thing that I've had for a while. Beautiful. Will I be selling it? Join us next week, same time, same place, and find out. Check out the listings. Hit me up on Reverb if you've got a question, okay, something that's not listed that you've seen in here you fancy. Hit me up via the Reverb shop, okay, and we can talk about it, okay. Everything's possibly for sale, so, you know, don't be afraid to ask. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Cheers. Ta-da.